Hey, with the 2014 Supercross series getting ready to kick off, I thought it'd be a good idea to bring you guys some Supercross techniques. Here we're down at Club MX in South Carolina, and the guys are out doing some practice, doing some interval races today. There's Phil Nicoletti, here's Cade Clayson, hammering it through the whoops. I'm going to show you guys some techniques when we slow this down in slow motion. Here is Alex Martin, 250 Yamaha. Kyle Peters, 250 Honda. Here's Justin Brayton on the 450 Yamaha. Let's look at Cade Clayson coming in to the whoops. A little starter whoop there. He gets up on top. And the key thing through the whoops is making that front wheel contact just before the top of each whoop. Keeping the balls of your feet on the pegs and staying on the throttle. These guys are using fourth gear through the whoops. Here comes Alex Martin. Goes through the bull turn in third gear, shifts to fourth, and then gets in on top of them. And watch that front wheel making that contact just before the top of each whoop. Keeping his body kind of neutral but back a little bit off the balls of his feet. Here comes Justin Brayton getting as much speed as he can out of the bull, hitting that little starter whoop, and then look how he just gets up on top of the whoops. That's why it's called skimming the whoops. It's just hitting the tops of them. A lot harder than it looks. He's making it look easy there, but believe me, it takes a lot of technique and a lot of practice to get that down. Here comes Cade Clayson around here, and he's going to make a little mistake here. Let's look at this again, because he comes into that rut and gets it standing up too far. Right here, he doesn't keep the bike leaned over far enough, and front wheel gets out of the berm. But he does a good job of getting it straightened out, getting back online. Here comes Kyle Peters through these whoops again. Bull turn, third gear, shift to fourth, hit the starter whoop, and get up on top of him. But when he came into him, this time Kyle hit the starter whoop, but he had to drop the back end a little too far, and that makes it hit harder. And then you start that teeter-totter motion a little harder, slows you down. Here's Justin Brayton on a rhythm section, man. Rhythms are so important to hit your landings just right, because as soon as you're landing, you're taking off again. Here Justin comes up a little short on the triple. You see why you have to have Supercross suspension, man. He really bottomed out hard, but it didn't rebound too bad. Motocross suspension would have been pretty ugly. I wanted to film this and show you guys what Justin was doing on this day. As far as this section he just did there, was doing a 3-4. You see how fast that is? That is fast. But in slow-mo, he's coming out of the bull turn there, little bull, and seat bouncing really hard to get in 3. Kind of comes up a little short, but no big deal. Still has it under control. Called a 3-4 all the way through. Man, that is really fast. He was the only guy doing it that day, but a few days later, Jace Owens, Kyle Peters, and Phil Nicoletti started doing it. Ooh, Justin got a little too leaned over to the inside there, but ended up saving it. Look at here now, his front wheel misses that third whoop, and then see how hard he hits into the fourth whoop. It's okay to miss one with your front end, but if you do, you got to get it to the top of the next whoop. A lot of times the guys will miss a whoop with their front wheel on purpose to keep their speed up, but when they do that, they have to make sure it hits the top of the next whoop. Alex Martin through the rhythm section. You notice how nice he downsides those landings to keep enough speed up to keep jumping. There he is, scrubbing the triple a little bit. Into the bull turn. There's Phil Nicoletti on the catapult jump. They call it the catapult because it's so steep. It's like going into, looks like a vertical wall before you hit it. Here he comes on that rhythm section. Over the step on, step off, into the bull turn, lines it up for the right side of the whoops and gets on top of them, riding on the balls of his feet, so you can use the ankles as body travel. Definitely a technique to do when you're skimming the whoops, is to be on the balls of your feet, not the arches of your feet. You can see that starter whoop pretty good there. Gets them up on top of the rest of the whoops. Those whoops look easy, but believe me, they are a lot harder than they look. The camera makes them look smaller on the screen. Some more whoops into a full turn. And it's the same thing, you know, that front wheel placement is so critical in the whoops. When you're skimming them, a whole different thing to jumping them. Here's that rhythm section again. You can see it a little bit better from a different angle. There's Justin Brayton, on off, 3-2. Little step down there out of the corner and right into the triple. So there's some Supercross riding tips for you. I hope it helps you understand Supercross a little better. Oh, you don't want to be with your your beer goggles on when you're out doing the whoops. Hey, look for some more free riding tips. MotocrossDVDs.com.